Some great news today. Shaftesbury's Britain in Bloom volunteers have done it again, winning gold in the South and South East Regional Awards within the Town Centre category. Representatives David Pearson, James Thrift and Derek Beer, himself a Britain in Bloom judge, were handed their certificate at RHS Wisley. Alison Harding volunteers with Shaftesbury in Bloom and says it's a big team effort that takes in far more than just the high street displays and the flowers on the town's roundabouts.
Shaftesbury in Bloom's done an incredible job along with Employ My Ability, who have obviously potted all the plants up with us. We have a huge area to cover around Shaftesbury, the Blackmore Vale Partnership, GP Gardens, Royal Chase Roundabout, all the car parks, and we all do our little bit as and when we can. And it's not just about the plants, it's about having meetings, monthly meetings. It's about applying for things like the blue tokens in Tesco's, which we're currently doing, and will be the last time that we can ever apply for that because Tesco's is changing the remit. So yeah, I'm absolutely delighted for all the time, the time and the effort that everybody has put into Shaftesbury in Bloom.
Of course, weather is a factor, so it's hard to determine how much time volunteers like Alison put in on an average week.
It really, really does vary, Kerry. This year it's been quite hard because it's been so hot. So we've had to go like 8, 9 o'clock at night to water round at the GP surgery. It's just, you go around town, you might dehead things as you see things needing to be deheaded. I can't really put hours into time. You just do it when you feel up to it. Your health lets you do something. The watering team, obviously, they do 3 hours a week, 4 hours a week in the peak season because they're watering 3 times a week. But then they're filling up the browser and using Chris's car and things. So it all adds up for times. We've done a couple of working parties. There's 2, 3, 4 of us that, we're there for an hour, but that's 4 hours time, isn't it? It really depends on what we're doing and where we're clearing a space or tidying up areas, basically.
But do you get a sense that it's really good? Because obviously the judges come in, they don't see Shaftesbury. There's that kind of thing that you can't see the wood for the trees maybe if you see it every day. But the judges get the wow factor. So when you're in the midst of it, Alison, do you get that?
I feel that, having the troughs in the high street really enlightens the high street. It brings the colour, the tourists. Doing other events, just walking in town, you hear people say, "Oh, aren't these troughs lovely? Isn't Shaftesbury looking beautiful? All the colour." And it does definitely go back into tourists' minds, locals' minds. We would just like more volunteers to help us. There's only about 10 of us in total, and we all have jobs or health needs, and we just do what we can in our own time.
The Britain in Bloom judge toured much of the town, including the Abbey Gardens, work at the Westminster Memorial Hospital grounds, the Rolt Millennium Green, Abbey Primary School and the Abbey View Medical Centre. Alison says a team of volunteers have been bringing colour to that outdoor space for the past 3 years.
Because we were working with their mental health team for the first couple of years, but it hasn't appeared to be the right setup to have people come and help at Abbey View. I don't know whether people feel they can't come because they go to see the doctors for their health needs and they don't want to be on the premises as well, helping tidy the gardens, make it look nice in their own time. I don't know what it is. But we have a few helpers, but not as many as we thought we would. This year we've tried to do the first Wednesday of the month, up there from 10:30 to 11:30. And again, we've had a couple of helpers which have come along and they just want to carry on in their own time, which is great. We are very, very appreciative of anybody's help time, whether it be an hour once a year or, an hour a week. It really is up to anybody. We don't stipulate you've got to do so many sessions. We're just grateful for any help and, advice on colouring plants. Drought seasons are happening, aren't they? Global warming's getting more knowledgeable on global warming, and from this summer we're aware of some plants have suffered more than others. So that's one thing we've got to bring up in the next meeting is where do we go for this time next year? Do we carry on? What plants do we put in? Do we go for a colour theme? Some people like themes, some people don't. So nature is very scattered, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a really hot summer, so has that really impacted on your team and what you do and taught you perhaps different processes you need to employ again?
It's impacted the watering team significantly because they've had to do extra watering. Some of the plants have suffered because they just need the water. They don't like the hot conditions. So we've got to look at that for next year, which plants we put in. Do we go more for agapanthus and, things which like the heat? But if the farmers are right, next year is going to be a wet year. So actually, British plants could do really well. You just don't know. It's pot luck, isn't it, Kerry? The weather, all our gardens have looked very dry and grass has looked very brown at times. And now all the rain, it's all perked up and looking great. We want to try and do more sustainable plants that can, bush out. We can take cuttings off. They can be drought resistant as well. So it's not just my decision; it's everybody's decision, and we'll be guided by some horticultural experts as well.
But it's gold again, isn't it? And it's quite a long list of winning years when Shaftesbury's bagged it.
Yeah, we've been really, really successful. We are all delighted. It's static. It is hard work. And we mustn't forget the hard work about it. It's not just us, it is employability as well. They've come up, they're helping us do some winter planters as well. We're trying to get the winter planters so we've got colour all year round in Shaftesbury and not just for the 4, 5, 6 months of the year where we get more tourists. We get tourists all year round. And we all live in Shaftesbury and we want to make it, keep it sustainable, make it, keep it bee friendly, and make it look colourful throughout the year.
Another gold for Shaftesbury in Bloom in the Regional Britain in Bloom Awards for the South and South East of England Town Centre category. Alison Harding there.